Do. So we're live on YouTube now?
We should be, yeah. Yep, we're live. Yep. Audio quality is good too.
Hold on 1 second.
You trying to share it on Twitter and Facebook?
What?
You trying to share it on Twitter and Facebook?
Not yet. I think there are buttons on this thing. And hold on. Ow. All right. So for anyone who's on here, we have new equipment. I'm getting used to it. Give us a second. We are adjusting. Jesus, this thing gets stuck in my hair, and it's like, okay, how do I?
I've already shared it to my Facebook, and I've shared it to the channel's Twitter. So all you have to do is share it on your Facebook.
I don't see it. Where do I share it on my Facebook?
You have to go to YouTube and click on the video and then share it from there.
All right, y'all, give me a minute. I'm doing something completely different. And now for something completely new.
Excuse me.
Be great if I could find it.
What, your YouTube?
No, the video on here. Oh, okay, there it is. How do I share it on here?
So you click the video, mute the audio. No, the audio is coming through your headset. That shouldn't be a problem. So click on the little arrow thingy.
Copy video and link. And then
you just.
What?
You could just click the arrow thingy that says share.
I think I got it. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, I have the weirdest look on my face. Like I'm side-eyeing you. But
try lowering the angle on your cam.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to get back to. Wow, that's bright.
That's good. There you go. Now you're front and center.
All right. Hello to anyone who's on here. Man, it has been an interesting week. Alrighty. I know some people might take a little while to jump on if they're going to.
Mm-hmm. It's also kind of late.
Yeah, well, 7. I mean, a lot of the time it seems like we jump on here around this time.
7.
So wait.
It's 9.
This says 7.
I must have not set your clock on the computer whenever I started it up. That is my fault.
I didn't even realize it was 9. I'm like, oh, we'll be fine. It's 7 o'clock. Hey, Theater Vamp, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Theater Vamp.
Got on here later than I thought we did. Huh?
Oh, okay. What? I was on private chat. That's why I didn't see it. 789. Ha 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 ha.
Oh boy. I heard her voice echo like 4 times.
Oh, you heard it 4? I heard it once and twice.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's funny. I've got StreamYard here in front of me, and I've got the actual video over here on the second monitor. We've updated our recording studios. Because now there are two. The one in the living room, which we've been using for a while, which is my setup. And then now we have Shelly back in our room where she was originally on her phone, but now we've got a really nicely built computer in there for her to use.
Of course, I had lipstick on my teeth. So attractive. So, yeah, we just need a computer chair for me because this stool like has no back, and it is. I'm afraid I'm gonna fall backwards, and it'll be bad. Oh, congratulations on taking your power back.
Fuck that guy.
How are we? I'm all right.
A little tired.
Yeah. Well, your screen is really fuzzy.
Yeah, it's the camera that I have. It's not the best of quality.
This screen, it looks pretty good in here, actually.
Yeah, it does.
I don't look like I'm gonna blind everyone.
I have 1, 2, 3 lights on, and yet it's still so dark over here.
Yeah. Yep. It's like that room absorbs the light.
Yeah, pretty much.
Light cannot survive. And it's a white room. One would think that it would be better. God, this chair is uncomfortable.
Strung up like a douche in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for the way that last stream ended. That was not. Oh,
Excusing myself from that conversation.
I love the sound of a small penis running by. What?
I said I was excusing myself from that part of the conversation.
Why?
Because technically, I'm the reason the last stream ended the way it did.
No. I mean, life happens.
And then ends.
And then what?
And then ends.
True. I'm sorry. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't like cutting your interview short because there were actually some more, things I was gonna say and whatnot. But stuff happens. So just as predicted, the guy who hates women who wear red lipstick sent me a message whining. Oh my God, I wear makeup, red lipstick. I am evil. I'm a woman and I have an opinion and I speak. The Handmaid's Tale is not a blueprint for how men should behave.
No. It is a blueprint for how men should not behave.
He also bitched about me having tattoos.
I'm sorry. My body is a temple, and I will stained glass it any way I want, bitch.
Right? I like that one. I'm going to borrow that. That's good.
You're welcome. I came up with that when I was in high school, by the way.
That's a good one, though. Especially since I like to make stained glass, but whatever. Pieces. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So there was some other stuff I was gonna say. I've been doing a lot of research. We have a bunch of videos and live streams coming up. Um, some pretty big topics. Um, and there's something someone asked me to look into a YouTuber and his behavior toward women. So I've been, researching that. Hey, Captain, I don't know if you saw my email. I responded to your email. Um, but this other YouTuber, I actually used a couple of his videos as research for a video I worked on. I did not know he had a history. Wow, my mind is kind of shooketh. Like I'm in the middle of being shooketh right now.
Yeah, you gave me a brief little excerpt of what you recently discovered. I'm just like, God,
Yeah,
just people. How can people?
how can people even just fucking hell? Yeah, so that's going to be pretty intense. And he's a large content creator, so I'm hoping I don't get any backlash. But there's some, I'm past the point of giving any fucks. Um, I don't know. I don't understand weaponizing
Your own trauma.
that against other survivors. And in effect, he's becoming the abuser that he was calling out.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a problem. It was I had to read it a few times because dyslexic, but there's a lot to unpack, break down, and process. So yeah, that's something apparently that we need to talk about on this channel. And like Marcus and I are thinking about homeschooling baby girl, but
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, but it wouldn't. It's mm, to try to help keep her away from abuse.
Yeah.
Oddly, um, yeah. So I'm also researching homeschooling and all that. Boy, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So how are you doing, Captain? Was that the gate?
She's fine. She knocked that little driving thing off of her table because she's sitting underneath it watching her Kindle.
Yeah, yeah. Wherever she goes, there has to be a little fort.
I mean, her name is Athena, so I'm not really surprised.
This is true. Did you work today?
Yeah, work today.
Do you wait? You have tomorrow off?
No. So, because I didn't go into work Wednesday because I took the day to process, I decided that I would gonna go into work today, even though it was scheduled off, because I
Right,
need the hours.
right.
So I have to work tomorrow as well. But I get off at 3 tomorrow.
Right on. Oh, just 1 second, theater vamp. Let me. It's a hard decision to make. Schooling when the schools near you suck. I'm okay though. Rough day. Not loving the new meds, but hoping they help. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, here in New Orleans, all the schools. New Orleans is one of the few cities in the country that is completely charter school. There are no public schools anymore. So it's either charter schools or private schools, and many of them are religious. And with the charter schools, they don't have to do background checks on any of the staff or the teachers or whoever. So there was a janitor who was a bad person toward children with a history of that. Um, and I think the only reason he was fired was because it became a public outcry thing. So for that reason, I'm not comfortable with her going to a school here.
Yeah.
Um, and it seems like the state of Louisiana in general might be leaning more toward charter schools, which is just bad. It's a bad idea. It's not something that should be privatized, I
Right.
feel. And at least this way, I know that she will have a really good, real education on the real history of this country, and, um, you know, just everything, sex ed, you name it.
Hmm.
you know,
I've made a couple new friends recently that were homeschooled and homeschooled their own kids. So I have resources to help us to get that done.
what is a charter school? They are bad for communities. Um, they're just bad in so many different ways. Um, so you can register your child with a charter school. They will collect the money from the government for having however many children in their school. And then in the middle of the year, in the middle of school, they can decide they're closing their doors, take all that money and retain it, kick the kids out on the street in the middle of the day without notifying the parents. Um, they can pretty much do whatever they want, is what they can do. And there really are not the regulations in place. So, how public schools have regulations and standards and all this and that, charter schools typically don't. And also, there are no unions usually with the charter schools. So, in a way, I think they're trying to break teachers' unions and destroy them through charter schools, and it's just bad. It's children are not educated properly in these schools. It's just bad. So yeah, I'm not keen on having baby girl go to a charter school,
Agreed.
and a lot of them seem to be in line with the whole prison to school to prison pipeline. So there's
Mm.
that. Yeah, I mean, one would think that it would be important to have standards and whatnot for schools. If you want to keep children safe. Just saying, we shouldn't have janitors who are bad people in schools when children are their targets. Typically, that's just a bad idea. I think. I don't know. Call me
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so I don't know how to pull theater vamp on here. I don't.
Oh,
Any
sorry.
is it?
Um,
Can you do it or
no, that's on your end. You see the little invite button?
yeah?
Click it.
I did.
Copy to clipboard.
Okay.
Go to Facebook. Find Theater Vamps messages.
Okay. Wow,
Paste it.
I'm popular today. I'm being messaged by everyone.
You're out of focus, by the way.
Probably because I'm not on the StreamYard thing. Hold on. I just sent the invite to you, the Vamp. Ah, I am. I'm a blur.
Well, it came
I'm
back into focus as soon as you pulled StreamYard back up.
okay. Yeah, so, being as Athena was basically a miracle, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
willing to risk her having she's really smart. Okay,
Super smart.
she's 3 and she can count to 25 if she feels like doing it on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already teaching her anyway. So might as well just continue in that theme. But she's going to learn the real history of, um, you know, enslavement of people in this country and the genocide of indigenous people when she's old enough, all that good stuff. And things like science, biology.
Yep. I'll take care of math.
Yeah, that would have to be you because that's not me.
Yep. Math and computer technology skills. That would be me. That's my job.
Right on, right on. There he is. Hold on.
Hey.
Hey there. As soon as I figure out the weird angles because of the lack of mirroring.
Yeah. I gotta adjust mine a little bit
Jesus.
too.
Yeah, other way. Yeah.
There we go.
That's okay. This is my right hand. So how are we tonight, my freaky darlings?
Doing. How do I
Yeah,
turn up the volume on this thing?
might be
This
my
headset.
volume. Check. Since I was just doing music stuff, um, volume might be all over the joint.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I adjusted it. I don't know if you can hear me better now or not.
Slightly, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. This is a new headset. I have not used it before, so
You
I
sound
haven't experimented with it enough to figure it out either.
you sound great.
I feel like I'm in one of those telemarketing commercials or something. Like,
In that case, we both are because we both have a headset without a microphone on it.
I mean, I got one of the best headsets I've ever encountered, and there's a lot of app like non-brand name ones that are similar, but honestly, those Apple AirPods are the best thing ever. They're so clear. I've recorded whole songs on them. I couldn't believe how good they were about like dealing with volume and loudness and things like that. They're
right.
not cheap. They are not cheap, but
Oh.
the thing that's cool about them is you have one in your ear and you have another one. So if this one starts to die, you just swap them out.
Oh, so Theater Vamp has to wear sunglasses a lot of the time because he has an eye problem.
Oh
His
yeah,
eyes are
sorry.
his eyes are sensitive to light, kind of
Yeah.
worse than mine are,
They're
actually.
sensitive to light, and I need to have bifocals to see up close. So whereas last night the laptop was way far away, so what I didn't need my glasses so much, but now it is not way far away, as you can see from the reflection. Um, yeah, I needed. I was doing music, so I got like shit everywhere. I've got a microphone over here. I've got a sound dampening thing behind me. It's a mess.
Nice.
But that guy that slid into my DMs kind of messed me up yesterday. So I was like, nope, time to punch back. So
Yeah, that's online bullying is a thing.
I couldn't believe the person they made a fake account specifically to message me, hit me with that nonsense, and then block me immediately.
That might be the same guy
That,
that. Remember when I said there's a guy, and I used your friend's messages as an in for me to go off
mm-hmm,
on that guy.
mm-hmm.
I said he's probably gonna message me with some BS about how evil, and sure enough, he did. It might be that same guy.
I mean, it
Um,
was on my Instagram though,
hmm,
so it's kind of it's not impossible to find me on Instagram, but the hell of a search. If
right,
that's the same dude, bravo for being bright, but fuck you for not being civil. Um,
right.
but it's weird how bullying like that. That's an excellent thing to talk about bullying because the thing that makes bullies so destructive, aside from the fact that they're bullies and they constantly put down your self-esteem, once in a while, like that guy says just the right thing that plants a little bomb in your head because it's the words that you yourself are rattling around, and it's just it's so psychologically damaging. I had to take like a 3-hour nap yesterday because that what he said runs through my head all the time. Should I be doing this? Is this just a waste of my time? I'll never be any, all that jazz. And it's like, this guy's psychic. It's scary.
No, he's not psychic. He's an abuser, and abusers typically can pick up on what a person's insecurities might be. This guy who emails me is all like, women who have tattoos are, it's the typical women are evil trope. You know what I mean? Oh, you wear red lipstick. Oh, you wear makeup. Oh, you dye your hair. Oh, you have tattoos, and just picking away at every little
Yeah.
thing. And to which
So an
I'm
incel.
like,
So an
right.
incel. Yeah.
And I think he expects me to respond back. I don't email back to him. I just
Yeah.
delete the email and block him. It's the
He
same
actually sends you
language.
emails, like physical emails.
Yeah, yeah. But I just
Shit.
keep deleting. I keep deleting and blocking. But he creates a new account to
Well, if
email
he's
me
sending
again.
if he's sending you physical emails, let's talk offline because I can tell you how to find him very easily. This is kind of what I do. I like to be cool and everything with the cool background and sing songs, but I'm one of the top Microsoft engineers in the country. So let's have some fun. Let's find out together.
Well, I
I can
mean,
tell you I can tell you the IP address to that guy's house, and you can call the cops and be like, "This guy's harassing me." He's
well,
called the
right
state
now,
police.
what I think what he doesn't realize is I have saved every email, all of them. I'm basically building a case against him. It has not
You want
yet
to find
reached the
out? You want to
point.
find out his location? Let me know. All I need to do is look at the headers, and I can find it. There's a point of origin, there's a point of relay, and there's a point of recipient. The point of
Right on.
origin. That's all. That's all. That's all anybody legal needs to go. There he is.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's to the point that I'm like, he hasn't reached the point of being a stalker yet, but he's very close to it, and I'm really not the person to do that with.
Have you done the standard "do not email me again" jerk kind of thing?
I
Have you
haven't
said the word?
responded.
Oh, you haven't responded. Okay.
I haven't sent
Just
him an.
respond. Yeah, just respond. Do not email me again, or I'm going to have the state police contact you.
Well, I'm basically doing that right here. I don't ever want to
Yeah.
hear from you again. I don't care what you think or what you think you know
Mm-hmm.
or what your religion is or how you feel about women. I don't care about any of that. I don't give a flying fuck. And yes, I will cut.
I would be really honestly surprised if he's in the United States. To be honest with you, I get
I mean,
trolled from Slovakia and the Middle East all the time on my YouTube for weird reasons. Like people would just post weird links to like porn sites and shit.
I mean, that's probably just business stuff. Like
Ain't it a hell of a thing that's business in 2021?
the whole factory spamming thing.
Yeah.
But this guy.
Baby girl, I'm assuming.
No, it's something outside. This guy speaks perfect English, and he sounds like a fundamentalist out of Utah or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, if he's like a Mormon, just the fact that he's watching your channel is got to be some sort of like against the rules kind of thing as it is. So, but every Mormon I've ever met has always been like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and just do good works. Every once in a while you get a crazy one, but every Mormon I've ever met has been like, oh, you need some water? Here you go. So for the majority of people, I think a lot of people on that side of the fence try to do the best they can.
Find him, order him.
There's always somebody who's frustrated and starts going a little wacky.
Yeah. Captain says, find him, order him a pizza. It's a nice way to
send him a bunch of liquor via Uber Eats. I'm not paying for this.
Right.
That's funny.
Oh my God, that's loud.
The motorcycle in the background?
Yeah, like your voice is fuzzy, but the noise is coming through loud and clear.
Get your motor running.
Sorry, I'm also trying to speak a little low because I'm not exactly sure just how well the mic's picking me up.
You sound good.
Yeah,
you sound good. You sound like you're like a little, like you're hiding, like a journalist at a riot. Like, I don't know if they're gonna find me, but in case they do, like you kind of sound a little bit like that. But you're doing it right. you know, minus the gunfire in the background and, you know, flying over your head. You're all right.
Yeah, not tonight. Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, barely.
here lately, that could actually be a thing.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to New Orleans in a long time. My experience is at a certain time when people are a certain level of drunk, the will to go too far tends to drop a bit. You know, kind of like, I was gonna do some shit, but maybe not. Let me have a drink instead.
I don't know. I think
Aren't you rolling up into well, let's see, you're past or way past like Mardi, like what's the big festival? Mardi Gras is not till like February, right? Something like that.
When is Mardi Gras, babe? I thought it was in March.
Mardi Gras already
March is
passed.
cool. Yeah, so you're like, this is this is April, we're going into May. What are the big doings in New Orleans like around April, May?
Well, I mean, in the summer, there are fewer festivals because it's so hot. It's kind of the off season.
Yeah. That's been what's keeping me like, I really want to go to New Orleans once I get my second shot. But on the other hand, I don't want to hang out in like 120 degree, 89% humidity.
Yeah.
Melting as I walk, and you know, by the time I end, it's like I'm frosty with just a hat laying there in a puddle. Yeah.
I mean, if you came here to visit in the summer, I would only be able to go out at night.
Look who you're
More
talking.
than likely. Either that or have like a parasol, and I do this thing I call shadow hopping. I hop from one shadow to another.
We'll be like those chicks in black from American Horror Story, where they're all just walking down the street in black with the parasols and the big hats and the glasses.
Yeah.
The single file line.
I had someone tell me, "Oh, that's really weird. They're walking around with parasols and all that." I'm like, "No, that's normal here. That
That's
happens
not real.
a
It's
lot."
not. Yeah, it's not weird at all. In fact,
Yeah.
I would be calling the various places around that I want to check out and be like, "Do you have AC?
Oh, every
Like
place.
during the day, or are you open door? You know, do you have closed door AC? We're there." Like I would map out the trek.
Well, there are some buildings in the quarter, like Napoleon House. The way that building was constructed, if you're sitting inside during the day, even if it's hot, the wind blows from the river up and through, and it kind of helps keep it cool. And then you have the fans too.
I know tall people don't sound like they'd be very welcome at Napoleon House. It feels like I'd be hitting a lot of doorways. Seats don't quite fit, you know, that kind of thing. Portions are small.
I mean, if you come here, we have to go there. I love that place.
I'm definitely planning to go a couple places. I'm just kind of weighing my options. Like I've got friends that I want to see in California, and then I've got friends from California who are already going to come here at some point. So it's kind of like, I don't want to miss anybody. And then you guys are in New Orleans, which, you know, you're my only friends in New Orleans. So I'm like, well, if I ever needed a reason, there it is. I don't like going places alone. And you're just kind of wandering around, except if I went to Paris. That's the city I want to visit the most, hence my name. I'll get lost in Paris. Just walk out of the house and just spin around and start walking in a direction.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully not into the river.
I got lost in Paris at one point, and I had a great time.
You've been to Paris?
I've been all over the place.
Oh, Paris. Oh,
much of my traveling I've done alone. But yeah,
I've been all over the joint too, but I've never been to France, and Paris is like the #1 city. Everyone who's ever gone is like, "Oh, don't go. It's full of Parisians." I'm like, "Yeah." And
it's fucking Paris. What the
yeah,
fuck?
Exactly, it's Paris. You know, everybody says you want to get lost. If you know, when you go to Paris, you want to just get lost in Paris. Just go get in a cab and say, "Take me somewhere fun," and see where you end up.
And
I'll either get mugged, find a brothel, or you know, end up at a party. I feel like, you know, coming back to my hotel naked with like a necktie on only. I didn't leave with a necktie, just a necktie. And you know, and I feel like they would be like, happens all the time. Here's your room key. You know.
Probably
I've only
depends
been to
on-
Oh,
Cancun.
swamp monsieur. Here's your room key. You know.
It probably depends on like where you are in Paris. Really, I was at a cafe in Paris. Oh my god,
What are the
this
odds?
the barista was an artist, and there was another American there who was being exceptionally rude. Like, I mean, he was going for some sort of award or something, and the barista guy.
I've heard they're very rude there in Paris. So like the waiters don't like have time for shit. Like that's kind of part of the culture. Like you don't tip them.
No,
That's also a
it
thing.
wasn't. It wasn't the barista who was rude. It was the American who was rude, and the barista was actually
Ah.
very professional, very aristocratic. I don't know how else to explain it, but like
They
he
came out in a frock coat, kind of a thing.
He took pride in what he made, his coffee and all of that, and the
Oh, they're
service.
serious about coffee there. I know that.
Yeah, and this American guy was just such an asshole, and the guy said something snarky to me, and that was it. The barista threw him out, threw the table out after him, the chair, like everything went out after him into the street. He was like, "Leave, take everything with you, go."
You know what kind of? I mean, I have heard the stories, the notorious stories of various places in Europe of how like service industry is, and it's not that they're rude. It's just that it's a very different culture. You know, I've heard like don't tip them; it's an insult. That kind of thing. And how rude you have to be for the rude working all day service industry people to have enough of you.
Yeah. Right.
Damn.
Well, that barista told me that part of the reason a lot of the service industry and in tourist places where Americans go, part of the reason they're so rude is because Americans are so rude and abusive.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in restaurants. I've seen it. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. That whole like, let me speak to your manager.
He apologized to me so profusely, and like, he was offended by the fact that the guy was so offensive to me. Like he took it as a slight against himself. And I was like, that's American guys. That's what they do.
Yeah, I hope that guy got snails in his coffee.
Me too.
Well, like here, this is a special blend. Enjoy. I made it just for you. What's it called? Escargot Cafe.
Well, I know he got spit on because that barista was not playing. I mean,
oh fuck!
When I tell you, this is before Instagram.
That's how the next French Revolution happens, right there. Just a jerky American goes to a cafe, pisses off a barista. Next day, it's like, can you hear the people?
Viva la revolution. I do not speak
French. Viva la revolution.
Yep.
Yeah. So
next thing is Les Miserables all over again.
That barista, like, I wish I could have taken a photo of the cafe mocha he made me. It had like a painting in it, and like it was so pretty. Yeah, I was like, I don't
have a Van Gogh.
Right? I'm like, I don't want to drink this. I want to put it on exhibit. And he was like, thank you.
Like, remember Now Art Cafe, Hollywood, Florida. I was never a coffee drinker until you took me there that one time, and you're like, you got to try this. And it was this frozen ice creamy mocha chocolatey thing with like chunks of chocolate on top of it. And I took a sip, and I was just like, excuse me, I'm going to die now. Because I've tasted it all. And but then a weird thing happened. I went back there one time, and I stayed there for a while. And they had live music and stuff that would happen later on. And they would come up to you and be like, hey, it's if you're gonna hang out, it's gonna be an additional like $8 charge because we got live music. And I was just like, I was here first. I mean, it's not like I came here and there's a cover charge. It was weird shit, but
they started doing that because they had this one woman who would come in there, and she was the worst Karen in the history of Karens. I mean,
I feel bad for anybody that's named Karen, like who's not, of that vibe, because they just get, anytime it's like, what's your name, Karen? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's when you start using your middle name or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, just call me Kay. I go by Kay now.
That woman would go in and she would order something off the menu, then decide she didn't like it and try to return it and order something else, not like that. And like she was costing them
Was
so
she
much
taking
money.
samples?
Basically, yeah.
You know, I could have schooled that woman. I would have been like, look, if you're hungry but you don't like have the money, it's real simple. You know, because once upon a time I was poor. Every now and then I leave the house hungry. Only had like $5 in my pocket. Just go to the mall. You walk around the food court. People are gonna hand you samples. Do a couple tracks around that food court. You got a full belly. You know, you don't have to be that person. You know, a little bit of sweet and
Yeah.
sour chicken. You know, some sweet and sour pork across the way. You know, some
But then what she would
dumpling.
do is when a server would, because she'd run servers ragged, right?
Ooh.
And then she would complain about the fact that they would get irritated with her, which of course they're going to get irritated with her. And then she would leave like a penny.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
And demands.
You know,
her.
that's why that. Have you ever seen that movie Waiting?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've worked in the restaurant industry. That's pretty damn accurate.
She tried that stuff with me, and I was like, look, the owner's already told me, everyone knows about you. If you start your shit with me, I'm going to kick you out right now. Don't even try your shit with me because I'm
Yeah,
not.
would you like Would you like the continental breakfast? We'll hook
Well,
you up. Don't worry.
she started getting bitchy with me, and I was like, you do realize that every place you do this, everywhere you go where you do this, people spit in your drinks. I haven't done that, but that is what happens because everyone knows what you do and you don't tip.
That's getting. You know what? That's getting off light because once upon a time, servers used to put a couple drops of Visine in people's drinks.
No, yeah,
And you know, if you do that wrong, someone can die. But you know, it's
I would never do that.
yeah, don't ever, folks watching, don't ever do that trying to be funny.
What you want?
It can kill somebody. But back in the day, that happened.
I don't think they can see you, baby. Come here. Yeah.
Oh, we got a guest.
You want to say hi?
Hi. Look at her strawberry hair. Oh, it's really starting to come in.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's Mama's hair right there.
I'm your mommy,
Yeah.
not your sissy.
Strawberry blonde.
I think she
All
just
the way.
confused me for Trav, so that's funny.
I mean, well, you do look a lot alike.
Yeah, that's haunting. That is really haunting. The fact how much your daughter looks like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of
Clone
them.
Wars.
Go say hi to your daddy. He's in the living room.
I've known you since you were 23, and I see Trev, and I'm like, wow, that. Aside from the hair color, because she dyes her hair or whatever, aside from the hair color, it is haunting. If somebody met her on the street that knew you from back then, if I ran into her on the street, I would be like, oh my God, you haven't aged a day. Not that you've aged much at all, but I'd be like, not one day. I'd be like this. I'd be like poking her on like side of the eyes and stuff to try to like, how?
Yeah,
we should all be so lucky.
Yeah, right. This camera keeps going out of focus, and I don't know why. Captain says southern humidity. Yeah, southern humidity is like getting out of the shower and putting clothes on without drying off. Yes.
Florida's not much better. I mean, you know, I when I went out to LA last year, right before COVID, I thought I was gonna bake. I thought I was gonna bake, and the sun was bright and it was beautiful, and the humidity was way down here, and it felt glorious. I was like, it's so ineffectual. You know, it was. In fact, there were times I was like, I need a jacket. A little chilly. You know.
Yeah, California was weird. Every time, like, because I've been to northern, southern, midway, whatever, and I don't know, Southern California is just, it's a weird place.
Yeah, my friend Joy lived in this place near Redondo Beach called Lawndale, And she was explaining to me, she's like, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. There's nowhere else in LA like it. It never gets, no matter at the hottest day of the year, it never goes higher than 80, ever. And the humidity is like 25%. The weirdest thing. I was like, you're lying. She goes, I'm dead serious. But she can't handle the sun either. She's blonde hair, blue eyes, Nordic, but she grew up there and she was like, nothing like it. Now she lives in Vegas where it's just like, you can't leave the house. You feel like your tires are going to melt if you stop your car.
Yeah, I could never live in Vegas. I went there one time to work a contract and I was like, nope, I need to, this contract cannot end quick enough.
Vegas is for 20-something tan people like Marcus. People who can go out in the sun and tan.
That at all.
What'd you say?
I said I am not insulted by that at all.
I'm dead. That's what Vegas is built for. It's Vegas for people who can tan, who don't really mind the heat. They're 20-something, so they don't yet feel their mortality. They're still made of rubber.
Oh, well, you
That's
lost
what
me the
Vegas-
mortality part because I got a bad hip and leg, so I'm definitely feeling my mortality.
Yeah. Wait till you're 40, buddy.
Oh, it's gonna be so much worse. I'm gonna feel like I'm 80.
I'll be.
I already feel like I'm 40 because of it.
So. Me and Shelly will be in our like late 50s, early 60s by the time you click 40, and you'll be like, "Oh, my hip kind of bothers me," and we'll be like, "I hope you fall down. I hope you fall down and you can't get up like the commercial." That's what we're gonna say to you.
That probably will be me around 40, honestly.
We'll be like, "Would you like a little medical alert? Button?"
Oh yeah, the weird like big ass pendant thing that sits
Yeah,
like
it looks
right
like
here.
Tony Stark looking thing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, in the future, you'll just push that. It'll like nanotech out and give you like a leg brace so that you can walk back to your bed.
I'm all for that. I'm all for the nanotechnology and the transporters. The what were they called?
Transformers?
No,
Huh?
transporters like the teleporters, like from Star Trek kind of a thing.
Oh,
There's a whole philosophy that's weird about that on a sci-fi level, because what it does is it literally disintegrates you, takes a copy of what your pattern is, and then transport it and then reintegrates you. But technically speaking, the original you is destroyed. So really, you're photocopying yourself and sending that copy somewhere like a fax. So you're really dead. You're really like the original you is dead the first time you do a transporter. It's just killing a bunch of copies over and over again. That's what somebody that somebody in physics was talking about the Star Trek teleporters. Like that whole concept is just a big murder machine, big murder fax. Yeah,
That's messed up.
it is.
Now that I think about it.
Wasn't there something about like storing a person's data in a buffer at one point during the Star Trek series?
Yeah, you're no longer a person. You're just like a pattern of data that they just figured out
like
how
a
to map.
little data packet.
Yeah, that's how they did that one episode. They like brought Scotty into like Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was stuck in a transporter, and he kept giving the other engineer like LaForge shit. He was just like, "Don't tell him you could do it in 2 hours. Tell him you could do it in 4. It'll make you look good when you do it in 2." He goes, "That's how you do this." And that like kind of revealed like, oh, that's why Scotty was so brilliant. He was just like under promising and over delivering.
Oh boy. Yeah, so we're probably not going to be on here for too long. I just need to get back into the flow of getting work done.
I'm just here to cheer people up and be silly with positive energy, because I can do that at the moment. It's Friday.
It's been a rough year or two.
Yeah.
It's been a thing.
It's been a thing. But the lights on the have you guys, any of you guys gotten your shots yet?
Marcus,
Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated.
Your rabies, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've got my rabies shot.
Yeah, right on.
I'm still waiting for the zombie part of the.
Did you get a 1 or a 2-shotter? 2-shotter?
I got a 2-shot, the Pfizer vaccine.
Ooh, how'd you feel on the second one?
The second shot knocked me out. You can ask Shelly. My mom recently got her first shot of the Pfizer vaccine, and it knocked her on her butt.
Everybody I know that got the Pfizer, the second shot, ooh, they were wrecked. Shelly, you lined up to get one sometime soon if you haven't already?
We're gonna.
Are they opening it up, I should say?
Yeah, in Louisiana, you get 16 and up to get their shots now. We're still
Yeah.
gonna make the call to schedule the appointment.
We have to make an appointment for me. Captain said, yes, but what constitutes a person? The never-ending question of philosophers.
Consciousness.
Not being a person, but being data or whatever. Yeah.
Consciousness.
Yeah, that promotes the question of is an AI a person?
If it's conscious, it's a sentient being. A person is an abstract concept, but a sentient being, absolutely. I got the Moderna. We all got the Moderna. We've all had one shot. We're getting ours at the end of the month. The second one, we're like a week and a half apart.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, when I got it, I was a little tired. Felt like I had kind of a light cold. For like a week, I was like, I need naps, which I don't really do naps. Getting the naps because she's a cat person, but
Right.
so I don't think we'll see much difference there really. But yeah, let me know when you guys are all done. I'm thinking of traveling like probably like June, maybe July, somewhere. I just need like a week or three or 4 days to myself to just go somewhere that's not here. Because I've been stuck indoors for a year.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome, baby.
My wife is 100% supportive. She's like, do you? It's like, I'm tired of seeing your face also, buddy. You go ahead and travel.
Yeah. Hoping to get my Bill Gates microchip injection soon.
Yes, the new microchip injection, it comes with faster bandwidth, but unfortunately, a whole lot more unsolicited dick pics. So, pros and cons. Pros and cons.
I would much rather get unsolicited boob pics.
Yeah.
I'm just
Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all?
I mean, if I had a choice, I'm just saying.
I mean, I've gotten a couple, and sometimes I've been like,
What, dick pics?
Oh no! I know exactly. I just send them back like worse ones. I'll just Google. I'll send them horses. Like I'll send them all kinds of crazy nonsense. Just weird stuff, and they're like, "Why would you send me that?" I'm like, "Why would you send me that?"
I would send them futa and have them very confused.
I would like just send them. Like my wife sends them back pictures of sushi. Which is just, I'm just like, why would you send them sushi? And like, confusion to my enemies. That's what my wife says.
My brain goes, it's a cylinder that you're cutting into smaller pieces.
That's exactly what she sends. She sends the roll that's like that. She sends them sushi.
Yep. I totally get that. And I agree. I might use that sometime.
Confusion to my enemies. That's exactly what she said. I was just like, I love you more now than I ever have.
I think
That is magnificent.
The last person who sent me one basically publicly blasted him on Facebook, so I haven't received an unsolicited D pic.
Aren't they? That brings up a good topic, Shelley. Like, what is the current? I know it's state for state, but I don't know what federal is. But I mean, doesn't it kind of rank up there with like how it used to be, where if you exposed yourself to somebody?
I don't think the laws have caught up yet with that. They should, because
it should be exactly that. Yeah.
Right. If some random stranger sends you, you've never talked to them before, you don't even know them, and they send you a picture of their genitalia, that is exactly what it is.
I forget stranger. If anybody you're talking to doesn't get permission to send something like that and just sends it, like if I'm talking to somebody on the street at the bus stop and they suddenly whip it out, that's no different. No matter how friendly they were. If my buddy whips it out, I'm like, dude, you're getting punched in the face. Prepare yourself. So so like, I'm just kind of curious, like at some point, I'm really hoping some laws get passed in that regard. I've heard something to the effect of certain states are doing something, but
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be a federal thing, really, because I mean, but here's the thing: there's a lot of stuff that happens on the internet where the laws need to catch up with the technology, like with doxing and with cyberbullying, and uh, what do you?
doxing is a tricky thing because, well, a lot of people don't know what doxing is. Like doxing is name, address, like who you are in a personal, real world scenario.
There's the legal sense, but then there's also this, I guess, what you could call the soft doxing, which should be illegal as well.
What's soft doxing?
Um, okay, so there's a certain content creator who, hey, Leanne,
Hey, Dan.
to you too. There's a certain content creator who calls herself a victim advocate.
Oh, I heard your streams about this. Yeah.
I'm about to do another one tomorrow because I'm truly and deeply pissed off.
Never ending source of content, right?
Oh, this bitch. I want to reach through a screen and just.
I mean, is it soft doxing like posting someone's Facebook handle? That kind of thing?
So, this idiot
Legit.
had the fiance of a survivor email her with the story of the trauma that her fiance went through and said, don't share the name, location, any of that of this survivor. But she did it anyway, accidentally, and then made excuses and all this and that. And I view that as, I guess you could say, soft.
No, that's intense. That's flat out intentional. There's no
Right.
accident there. They took the time to read the email. They saw the disclaimer.
Because, I mean,
Oops.
she
Yeah.
said the name of the victim. She said the state. She said things that could lead someone to know who that is.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, gotcha. So it wasn't like their address, like this is where you can find them. They work at Starbucks, not that kind of job. Right on.
Right.
I think someone's social media presence though is fair game. Like if somebody does some stupid nonsense, like with their, like ladies man 6969 or something like that, and somebody wants to say this guy's a jackass, watch out for him. He sent me dick pics. That's fair game. I think that's okay.
That's different, though. That's somebody who is doing
Problem is
something.
it cuts both ways, right?
I mean, if somebody is doing something that really should be illegal, you're exposing yourself to someone without their consent or permission. If you do that in a park in public, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Come up
Jail,
with
sex offenders list for life, all that jazz. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that when you consider that a lot of people who do that, sending the unsolicited D pics and all that, not all of them, but a lot of them have a history of some sort of criminal behavior.
Oh, that's not new. Absolutely. Yeah. That is absolutely 100% a, that's a pathology. That's going to ever escalate. Absolutely. Yeah. Nobody just suddenly goes, I've never done anything stupid in my life. I'm going to send somebody my dick. Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
A lot of women have been taking those like unsolicited messages, or even, if it's someone they know, and searching out that person's mother, and sending them.
Yeah. I've got a friend on Facebook who,
you made this. You're responsible.
Facebook who gets these unsolicited pictures all the time. Goes on that person's Facebook, finds their mother, finds their sisters, finds their dad, pretty much anybody in their immediate family, finds their grandmothers, and sends them the picture, and then the chat log. Like, this is what your son, brother, grandson, relative, whomever, this is what he's been doing. He sent it to me. And then takes the photo and then their chat log and then posts it on their own social media, on their own Facebook page.
Now, I know somebody, I'm not going to say I don't know this person, but I know of a case where some guy was doing this, was like on Tinder or whatever, or some one of the other, fuck apps. and was sending, like, "Hi, how are you?" and like got 3 sentences into talking to somebody back and forth, and then would just send something. And the dude got in trouble. And what happened is that he wasn't sending his own; he was sending better ones that he found on the internet. So, his defense was, "That's not me." But it turned out like the judge was like, "It doesn't matter. You don't have license to distribute pornography to somebody without their consent." Um, and it turned out that the girl, on the other hand, mind you, who had no fucking business being on Tinder, was 17 years old.
Oh.
A
So,
minor.
but also, like, the guy had no reason, as shitty as he was, had no reason to think that she was 17 years old. So it was a big weird, like, this judge was in this like, what the hell do I do here?
Yeah,
Like the
but
technology.
ignorance,
So he gave the guy a fine, got the girl and parents in trouble with their parents. It's like, both of you, nope. Like,
well,
kind of a
yeah,
nonsense.
but in many states, ignorance of the age of a person, like if you don't know someone is underaged, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter.
No,
And
you're absolutely true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the reason they do that is because they don't want to give potential, bad people,
Yeah.
P words, any kind of out, to
Yeah,
be able
some
to,
states have the ignorant situation, but also some states like have the like intent. Like that's how R. Kelly got off, right? Like he was like they couldn't prove that he intended to be with a minor. And I was just like, not for nothing. That's a freaking child. Anybody could see that.
Aaliyah
Anybody could see that.
Aaliyah was what, 14, 15 years old when he met her? He knew exactly how old she was.
I mean, I'm not familiar with the Aaliyah situation. I only know Aaliyah from Queen of the Damned. I didn't know that there was something up with Aaliyah and R. Kelly.
Oh, she was. I'm gonna have to do a video about him.
I just know about that 14 or 15-year-old that he was with, the one in like the main video that came out years ago. And, he like, dude was like, "It wasn't me." And I'm like, "There's a Grammy on the desk." Like,
Yeah,
we
but
know what you look like,
here's the thing. Which one? There were so
Is
many.
there a whole bunch of them?
Oh,
I know there's a thing called Surviving R. Kelly, and I've been scared to watch it, quite frankly.
if you watch it, you may have to take breaks. I had to take breaks. It was bad. With
Yeah,
Aaliyah, he.
that and the Michael Jackson thing, like, it's amazing how we give stars a pass, isn't it?
Yeah, and we
Like
should.
people like I see people rage against certain musicians, but I'm like, guys, listen, you need to learn to separate the art from the artist, because if you go back far enough, almost every artist is some sort of weird fucked up person. But like, people, I saw one person raging about some other artist, and I was like, yeah, but you know what? I know you like to dance the Thriller every Halloween. Be a little consistent.
Mm.
So so I mean, it's amazing how we give passes to artists.
Yeah,
We shouldn't. They're human beings.
Way too often. Look at what Shia LaBeouf was doing. I mean, I've been researching a lot.
I mean, he's weird. He's weird as shit. But what did he do?
He's your standard evil abuser. He's just allegedly.
I know he's got some serious issues with bipolar and borderline personality issues. Like he was institutionalized for a little bit, like self-imposed. Like he went to a hospital and said, "I need help." I know that, but I don't know what transpired.
Should have stayed there longer.
I don't know what happened. Like what is he like? Did somebody come out and like accuse him of something?
Oh yeah, yep.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Several people have come out about him.
It's amazing how like all it takes is a marketing company to saturate the internet to make that shit like go away.
Yeah.
Because most people only stay on the first Google page,
Yeah.
I think what they tried to do to cover it up was he recently came out with a movie like about his dad and why he's so fucked up.
I haven't seen him in anything.
Everything.
I haven't seen him in anything in a very long time. I mean, I'm not like a Shia LaBeouf fan. I just know that he's like really troubled. But I didn't hear anything about that. That's interesting. Now I got to do some research.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so Leanne said, this person is walking a fine line. I know who you're talking about, Leanne. Can we say stalker? Yes, we can. Um, I remember being in college and this guy goes, R. Kelly is writing a children's book. And I said, shit, you're kidding me. He was surprised I knew his background. That was back in 2001. There were rumors about R. Kelly back when I worked in security. Um, and we had a list of people we would not work with. And in part, and we were just, nope. Um, Truth teller. Hi,
Yes,
truth teller.
baby.
It's
Once you go lay
disgusting.
down in bed, I'll read it to you in a little
Stars.
bit, okay?
Marcus. Marcus.
Yeah, you go lay down in bed.
Mute yourself if you're gonna. It's disgusting how we give stars a pass. Captain says Weird Al hasn't done anything that awful, has he? Not that I know of. I haven't heard anything about him ever. Weird Al.
Weird Al.
Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, Weird Al is about as wholesome as Mr. Rogers. You know, I would find it like I would be shattered if I heard that Weird Al. I'd be like, who in the right mind, like if Weird Al would be like, you know, come here, baby, like wouldn't just go. Like, I mean, honestly, I find it. I would honestly, if somebody came out like Weird Al did something, I'd be like, I would have some trouble. I would have some trouble believing it. I'd be like, Weird Al, really? Polka, accordion, you know.
Says, I remember when I walked to school in 10 feet of snow with no shoes on. That's how I feel right now. Huh? I worked one of his concerts. His parents were both murdered, I think. Wait, who are you talking about, Leanne? I don't know who you're.
Those comments came out whenever we were talking about Weird Al.
Right. Weird Al wrote a children's book. I kind of love him. Yeah, Weird Al is. I worked security for him at one point, and he was just really chill, really nice guy. Hey, turn it down.
I mean, nothing's impossible because human beings are fallible as hell. But I would be really, but then again, I was really shocked about the Bill Cosby thing. Like, I was like, really? But then again, a lot of comedians have been talking, like I watch a lot of comedian podcasts on YouTube because I love comedy. Except I'm not that funny. And they're all telling me like they had heard things about him for years, like this guy's not right. And then if, you know, like when that came out, like that's what we've been hearing for years. So, you know, being an average citizen, you go, Bill Cosby, no. If Weird Al came back, like that would be more shocking to me.
Yeah.
I remember like the old rumors were going around, like Mr. Rogers was a Navy SEAL sniper, and like 60 confirmed kills and shit like that.
And then he had like
what?
covered in tattoos, which is why he always wore long sleeves,
wore sweaters, and people believe that stuff, and I was just like, wow. Honestly, to me, I was like, that makes Mr. Rogers even cooler. But you know, on the same token, like if something came out about Weird Al, I'd be like, oh, that would mess me up. Honestly, I'm like, it's official. You can trust no one.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody. Not your friends, not your family. No one.
One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, especially with the music industry, usually if they're, you know, people who are on tour, have concerts, whatnot, you have all kinds of staff around you. So you have your security and roadies and all that, you know, all your staff, right? And those people talk. So word gets around. So with R. Kelly, with T.I. and his wife, with there's a list. There's an actual list.
I don't know who T.I. is because I'm not very well versed on pop culture, quite frankly. I'm still living in the 90s.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad one too, but
like I always say, like Motley Crue could never exist today.
Right.
You know, we love Motley Crue's crazy antics and their music, but they could never live. They could never exist today. It could never happen. You know,
they had talk about underage girls.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Lee was like 17 when he started that band, or when he was started in that band, I should say. So it's a little weirder for him. But that's also like crazy time, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, everybody. It's hard to find levels of accountability in all that mess of clear accountability, I should say, like where it's like an absolute black and white thing. It's such a train wreck, in a way that same thing with Guns N' Roses, and but it's but also like Vincent van Gogh is one of the greatest painters ever. Clearly mentally disturbed, stalker, cut his ear off. I mean, it's hard to find artists that don't have anything wrong with them, because that's one of the things that makes their art great. And I'm not saying give them a pass, but you could definitely dive. You definitely got a deep dive you got to do to try to figure out like why are these people like. It's one thing to be a little fucked up, another thing to be abusive.
Well, I mean, like with R. Kelly, he has to know that the things that he did to the survivors were not right. These are, he knows they're not right. That's why
I blame the people around him too. I blame the people around him because they're accessories.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
enablers. They're enablers and they're accessories. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And with Marilyn Manson, same thing. I mean, one of his, I guess, assistants.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff that's not looking good.
One of his assistants came out on one of these our apologist content creators on YouTube, okay, and was talking with her about how he's a great guy, he's a really nice guy, da 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 da. Looks like she's still being paid by him. So I wonder why she was standing up for him.
I mean, the typical lawyer tactic.
Meanwhile, there are 20 or 30 people who were witnesses to him abusing people. So are we going to believe one person over all these other people, and the videos and the books and the interviews and the home videos that he made showing him victimizing people?
That was actually, when that came out, when that started coming out recently, the evolution of that surprises me. Because, you and I go way back. We go back to the time when he was just first name, last name, before he was Manson, where he's just a nerd beat poet, introvert, harmless wallflower. It's fascinating, not fascinating, but horrible to imagine that evolution from this thing to this. And some part of me likes to think that, what's the old adage, like power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like fame, I wonder sometimes if fame can create monsters where they wouldn't be if they were normal people. Not that it's an excuse, but I wonder if it's a contributing factor. It's got to be a contributing factor, right? At least on some level. Especially with enablers, everybody around are like, we got you, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. Go off with that,
with
pushing and whatnot. Horrible,
I think a lot of aspiring musicians are just creeps. It helps to be famous. Many people are often just creeps. I don't know. But the aspiring musicians I met in Nashville were gross a lot of the time.
Fame to me would be, I've told this to you and I've told this to many of my friends, like if somebody said, hey, we really like your YouTube, come do record contract stuff and tour around, I'd be like, absolutely not. Like the idea, like fame terrifies me. To me, it's absolute hell. You're isolated. You got a bunch of people whispering in your ear bad shit. It just plays to your worst instincts. I'm the last person to say like, oh, watch out for bad influences, because that's very kind of religious-y, if you will. But there is a certain point where, if you crave that level,
well,
it can get you.
Leanne says Creepshow Art did a video on Courtney Stodden about how people were going after her and putting her down when she was 16, marrying a 50-year-old actor. Jesus. Oh my God.
What the
fuck?
How old?
She was
16.
50.
When was this?
That's bad.
Baby's right here.
Okay.
Well, are we talking like Charlie Chaplin days, or are we talking like something recently? Because that's
Courtney
a very
Stodden?
different time.
I don't know who Courtney Stodden is.
I don't know. Oh, Stodden. Courtney Stodden. That's that blonde bombshell. That person, Courtney Stodden, I don't even know what to make of her. On one hand, like she bit, it's like she absolutely had no business marrying somebody at 16 years old. But on the other hand, like her family was all like pushing her to be this big influencer, got her breast implants, plastic surgery by the time she was 16 years old. Just really crafted somebody that shouldn't be at 16. Basically turned her into a victim in waiting, essentially.
Yeah,
That's
that
her
was back
family.
in
That's her family's
2011
fault.
too.
Yeah, that's her
That
family's
was
fault.
10 years ago.
Yeah, no, he wasn't 50. He was like 80. He's like an old, ancient, rich billionaire in a wheelchair. It was, ugh. I remember that. Oh God, that was so creepy.
Marcus, can you come back here real quick?
Yeah.
If you guys gotta go, by the way, we can end this whenever.
No, it's okay. That is just really, I don't know anything about that particular topic. But,
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, it's very gold diggery. On the other hand, it's her family's fault because she was 16. She don't know no better at 16,
Can you put the gate up so she can't go back here?
Yeah, I think. Come on.
With I don't know. I have basically a boatload and a cargo jet full of videos I'm going to be doing soon because I've been using this time to do a lot of research. And man, it is, I don't know. There's no end to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a never-ending source, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this person who I was talking about before, to say you're a victim's advocate and then to turn around and betray the trust of someone who tells you a person's traumatic experience is absolutely disgusting. It's just
Yeah, and under the guise of oops. Yeah, like you didn't read the email that said distinctly don't do this thing.
But this person has a history of doxing people, and not just once, but twice, like repeatedly, like doxing people to the point that they move. They move households, like, and she keeps on doing it and saying, oh, it's no big deal,
Yeah. I mean, we used to live in an age where things got rough, right? You could leave your town, reinvent yourself somewhere else, and not have to deal with the bullshit. But now the internet's everywhere you go. So once that happens, you're always like, aren't you that person? And like you can never recover in many ways. For anybody, people, anyone who's undeserving of that kind of treatment, it can never recover. People who are deserving of that treatment can also never recover, and good. But yeah, it's I mean, that's, it doesn't take much to hunt somebody down. That's horrible that person would do that.
Yeah, and I mean, she keeps doing it and keeps like any kind of excuse she can come up with.
How many whoops buttons can you push?
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I feel like she needs to have some consequences for her actions. That's for sure. And hence, I'm going to be making another video about this person and I don't want to, but it's when you say you're a victim's advocate, okay, and you're presenting yourself as doing what I actually do, and then you betray people, you're telling that person.
Doesn't victim advocacy require some sort of, well, I mean, on the internet, anybody can just say whatever they want, right? But
you can say you're an ally, but don't say you're an advocate because I went through training.
Isn't an advocate an actual profession? Like with this person, like, don't you have to go to, that kind of jazz?
Yes.
Like I'm part of this victim advocacy group, blah, 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 LLC, nonprofit, that kind of jazz.
There is training and certifications that are involved. There is like, you don't just say I'm a victim's advocate. You have courses to take and all kind of stuff. And,
yeah, that's just, I mean, if you're an advocate, you're kind of like a journalist. You don't reveal your source. Like that's rule number one. That's the basic, tenet. That's the most basic, tenet of your social contract, right? Somebody
Well, I
says,
mean,
"Don't reveal who I am," so you don't. That's it.
yeah, it's she has trash talked children who apparently were going through traumatic situations. She has stalked people to the point where they leave the internet and then sue her. And it's not just once, it's like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
Um,
that's libel. It's slander if it's in
it's
voice. It's
slander.
libel if it's in print. Yeah, but if it hurts their livelihood and their lives and all and emotional distress and all that, they absolutely have grounds to sue.
Yeah, I forget Leanne, what was the charge against her? It was why am I blanking on that? It was the case was thrown out for jurisdiction, but they can still refile in her state. And now she thinks,
Yeah, you got to file in the state that you're suing someone, right?
not always, but now she thinks that she's in the free and clear because that case was tossed out. But she is ignoring the fact that she's went after so many people. And
Tossed out doesn't mean double jeopardy or anything like that. I mean, it's a civil. They can refile.
double jeopardy typically applies to
That's
things
criminal. Yeah,
right.
that's criminal.
So, it's all about the statute of limitations. But with what she's doing, like she's going after reality TV stars and stuff like that, but to a point where she digs into their great great grandmother's personal history and shit. Stuff that's not the norm of what the average Joe or Jane would do if they're a fan of someone. It is stalker type behavior. And she's so intrusive that it's.
Yeah, I mean, the internet, I was talking to somebody the other day and I was explaining to them about how easy it is for somebody to find out anything about anybody. Like,
Yeah, but then if
$12
you can find out,
on a website and you can get everything about them, people they know, all kinds of
right,
jazz. It's creepy.
right. But she does this. She takes this information and then she puts it out there. She's got some big, scoop or whatever. She says that she is a investigative journalist. No, I have worked with investigative journalists. I was going to
Not
be a
not
journalist.
unless she's employed by a publication that has like that kind of insurance and charter and whatnot. You can claim First Amendment, but you can't claim a journalism rights to not name a source and whatnot.
What she does is not journalism.
No,
She
it's not.
also, Leanne says,
It's like rag inquirer shit.
Leanne says she also says she's an advocate for disabled children, which pisses the fuck out of me. Yep. It's actually getting to the point, Shelley, that I'm seriously afraid somebody is going to get seriously hurt. I've been saying this for a while, that everyone should watch their asses with her.
I mean, this is on YouTube, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Well, she's not just on YouTube. She's on Instagram. She's on, I think.
I mean, why not just report the hell out of her on both those platforms? Those platforms have very clear terms of service that are not okay, like doxing, cyberbullying, all that kind of jazz.
People have been doing that. She violates TOS terms of service so much that people have been doing that because she keeps doxing people. She keeps, doing all these things and like having people mass flag content creators and just copyright striking and just all this stuff. She's very vindictive. She's very unstable. And instead of addressing herself and the problems and the problematic behavior she is exhibiting, instead of addressing that herself and being responsible with herself, instead she projects. She's highly abusive. She projects it off onto everyone else and acts like they are the problem.
Yeah, I mean, doxing. So currently, very few states have actual doxing laws.
Yeah, but there are federal laws that can supersede that. So
the current federal law about doxing is only relating to federal employees and police department and police officers, firefighters. people in civil service. I'm looking it up right now, but for the average citizen, there currently is a gray area that falls under the cyber stalking law, which is really behind technology if you
Oh,
really
it is
think about it.
way
Yeah.
behind. But when
Yeah.
you add
That was,
to
and
it,
it was passed in 2001.
right? But when you add
So it's
to it,
nothing.
it isn't just doxing. A lot of the time, these people she will dox, she'll also either her or her agents, nobody's sure, will send messages that are extremely threatening and extremely dangerous and scary, you know, to several people. And
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it requires, unfortunately, a lot of money sometimes to pursue these things. And lawyers, especially in civil situations, where you usually go, if there's no money in it for them, they just don't take it. You know,
well, now
so it
she's
just
going
falls
after,
in the ether.
right, but now she's targeting the Kardashians, and they have that money.
Well, Kardashians have so much money, they're probably like, I don't care. Like they're
Uh,
multi-billionaires.
the way
You know?
she goes after people, they might. I'm just saying, she's a dumbass.
I mean, Kanye's crazy, so you never know what he might do in retaliation. Just
Mm.
saying, she should be careful messing around with the Kardashians.
Hold on. Hold on a minute. Leanne says, but it's really deceptive. You have to look at her with the open eyes and heart. At first glance, she seems innocent, but she's so good at this stuff that she does. Yeah, she is. Yes. Oftentimes victimizes an already existing victim. Yep, she waits for someone to be in a position of vulnerability, like with Tati Westbrook and so many others. Captain says, I recall when I found her, she was a guest on another YouTube podcast and allegedly helped the co-host steal the channel with at least $30,000. I know what you're talking about.
Is this a famous person of some kind? Like, have they been on TV or anything like that? Or are they just purely like a social media nightmare?
She's YouTube infamous. She's YouTube infamous. I've heard
But
that.
I know you don't want to say the person's name, but offline, send me who this is because I really want to kind of see who the hell.
I'll say her name. Her name is KJ. Katie Joy.
KJ?
Let her come for me.
Like KAYJAY, kind of like KJ?
Katie Joy Paulson. But I didn't attest to it. I didn't watch the podcast all the time. I just remembered it disappeared one day. I looked into the story later because I thought they were all cool. Yeah, and that's the thing about her. Anywhere she goes, like she'll join Facebook groups, other podcaster groups, content creators, whatever, whoever she like connects with, except for one or two. And those one or two are kind of as toxic or more toxic than she is. But everybody else, she'll just destroy their channel, their reputation. Eventually they're going to get stabbed in the back, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's a pattern.
Yeah, this is a business person on the internet. Like they got a whole LLC and everything. I see what you mean. So all anybody can do is sue the LLC, and they can never actually go after her. That's the liability trick, you know.
Well, she can't get
such a
liability
mess.
insurance. She can't get liability insurance. She can't get it because she drinks all the time on her channel.
No. I mean, an LLC is limited liability company. So, like, if they can
I
only
have
ever go
a
after a
business.
company.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a degree in business, but what I'm saying is she can't get liability insurance for her business because she drinks on her channel all the time, and she has such a negative history. They're never
There's a
going to insure
petition.
her.
There's a petition to get her off social media
That's
on
probably
change.org.
it's probably been around for a while because this has been going on for a while. This is not a new thing.
Yeah.
I understand you being perplexed about how she's gotten away with it for so long. I think who does
There's a
know
ton
it
of
used to be.
cases. There's a ton of lawsuits against her.
Yeah.
Like 30 of them.
There's
Jesus.
30? I knew about
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at page after page after page of person versus person versus person versus. Like she's getting sued all over the joint.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, all over the place.
You might
That's
have to send me that
crazy.
link.
Just Google her name, you'll see them all.
Okay.
You know, I could. I mean, it looks like her husband's suing her. What the hell? Yeah, that's
What?
wild. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Probably for divorce. Allegedly. I didn't say that. I was just joking. I was joking.
Assault, libel, and slander is the
From her
suit.
husband?
That's what it looks like here. I'd have to dig in deeper, but I don't know.
Oh, we might be getting a scoop here, folks.
This is from back in October 2020. I don't
I
know if
think
it's her husband. It looks like it's her husband. It looks like it might be because the name is attached to the business name, but I don't know. I have to look into it deeper, and I don't really feel like it
I think
because
she's
that would require me to give her energy that I don't feel like she deserves.
I
Yeah,
think she's in Minnesota, wasn't it, Leanne? I don't
that's where
remember.
the suit is. Yeah, Minnesota. Westerbrook versus Paulson
Westbrook.
in the Western District of Washington. There's lawsuits from
That's-
all over the country.
Right. Hey, Paris, I'm trying to tell you something.
What?
That's the Tati Westbrook
Oh, is that it? Okay.
lawsuit from the
Uh-huh.
stalking and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw
So-
Westbrook, and it looked like Westbrook was part of the LLC because the name was attached to LLC at some point.
No,
Maybe it's coincidence.
Tati Westbrook is a beauty guru, content creator on YouTube. So she probably has her own LLC. So an LLC is meant, you create an LLC if you have, if my channel takes off, I will create an LLC.
Yeah.
And that gives me a certain amount of protection, business-wise, like financial and certain other things. It doesn't fully protect you. So like KJ, if she persists in what she's doing, eventually she's going to fuck herself over. That's just, it's gonna happen. She's gonna run out of some luck at some point.
Yeah, it looks like it was dismissed for jurisdiction in Washington, but it's been refiled in Minnesota. So it ain't over.
Happened?
That's what I see.
I hope so, because
So there you go.
anyone who talks talking smack about an adult is one thing. Talking smack about a child who has potentially been traumatized is a whole different subject. But then going after adults the way she does, she'll try to get people their probation revoked. She'll try to get people arrested. She'll call CPS on people. But then if you
What do you mean probation revoked? Like what do you mean?
There was a reality star, I don't remember who it is because I don't watch any of that stuff, who was out on probation, and apparently KJ didn't like something she did or something and tried to call her probation officer and get her probation revoked.
Oh, okay, so probably like somebody on probation because they drank too much, did some stupid shit in public, that kind of thing. Not like somebody who's like a criminal.
Yeah, but she's vindictive with it. Yeah, she purposefully goes after people. She's there's
horrible human being.
Horrifying.
There's that whole thing. Like there's that whole thing in Psychology Today, and this is the kind of person who is highlighted in it. And the Psychology Today thing was about cancel culture, but it was really about people who deliberately like to use the internet to hurt people. And they get a rush, they get a dopamine off it, like, look what I was able to accomplish. And in their freaking warped mind, they think they're doing the right thing. But some of them just like, you know what, I'm going to destroy this person and feel powerful. This sounds like one of those.
She attacked her husband who was holding their infant, and she has some kind of knife. What the fuck? Is that true?
See what I mean? There's a bunch of stuff.
I can't say I'm surprised.
I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole because like I got other things to worry about in my life, but man, that sounds horrible. You know, this person just is it's toxic.
An
astonishingly toxic person.
Yeah, the reason I will bring people like this up is because a lot of people out there know someone like this, and this is clearly abusive, bullying, toxic behavior, and it is in your face. And if you have someone in your life who is like this, you don't have to put up with it. You don't have to be treated like this, you know, and you don't have to give them a pass, and you don't have to be okay with their behavior because that's just the way they are, or any of the other excuses that people will give them. Enablers will enable, right? But you don't have to enable.
I mean, the reality is most people out there are good people. And unfortunately, people tend to fall into this thing where they're only around toxic people, so they don't know the difference. And when they meet somebody who is a good person, somebody who's decent, they almost distrust it because they're like, they've come to count on what a toxic person will do as like par for the course. So somebody who's like a good person, almost they're like, I don't trust this. This is scary. I've never seen this before. And you know, you almost want to be like, no, no, no. That's what it's supposed to. This is what love and support feels like. You know.
Yeah. Well, and
Should
it's
start a hashtag for KJoy, like hashtag this diarrhea is astonishing. Should start that hashtag. No joke, like just a comedic hashtag. And if she comes through, you'll be like, comedy, protected. What up? You know? Can
Leanne
you
said,
imagine sticking a vindictive comedian after somebody like that?
oh, true.
Like the level of just verbal destruction that would occur. You know what I mean?
Right. Leanne says, but KJ said that Amber made a death threat towards her when she didn't, so that's where KJ did wrong by calling the probation officer. That should be a criminal charge right there. I mean, it depends on the jurisdiction, but I think here.
Well, like what kind of a death threat? Like I'll kill you, bitch, or like you know shit that people say in anger.
Here, that would be, I do believe, a false police report.
That because they do it, then they're cross jurisdiction. Nobody can enforce, right?
That might be FBI if you're crossing jurisdiction.
If they feel like it, you know, when they're done catching the cartel leaders.
Captain said toxic people seek out vulnerable people, and yes,
yeah,
that many videos.
Lions don't pounce on the herd; they wait for the gazelle to wander away.
Yeah, yep.
Absolutely. That's what a predator does.
Oh, so there's something that I have to say on this stream. Well, KJ twists everything though. That's what she does. To excuse her behavior, that's what she does.
In her best interest.
Yeah. So there's something I wanted to say specifically on this stream because we have subscribers on the stream who can't interact on the stream and whatnot, but they'll watch the stream. And one of them, had something happen. I can't really say what.
Bad shit.
Yes, they did let one of their family members know what was going on. Okay, so to that family member, if you have been emailing me recently, then please know I'm talking to you right now. I sent you this in an email, but I want to use this as a point to make this point to everyone out there, okay? So if you have a loved one and you know that they are in an abusive relationship, let's say they end up in the hospital with injuries stemming from that abuse, okay? Document it. Take videos and photos yourself on your phone, and if you can get other people to do it as well, that's even better, because then you have a preponderance of evidence that you can show to a judge the abuse that is going on, okay? All of that can help you get a stay-away order. Here is called a stay-away order. It might be called something else in your jurisdiction. You can go to legal aid or call them. With the pandemic, I don't know how that would go, but and tell them that you have videos and photos, all of the evidence that you can gather to show that your loved one is in an abusive relationship and that they are being abused physically or verbally or in whatever way, right? You want to gather it all up and put it somewhere safe. You don't just want to have it in one spot, like on your phone, right? You want to download it onto your computer, save it
in the cloud too.
On your computer, then also in the cloud. And also, if you have a flash drive, put it on that flash drive and hide it. Put it in a safety deposit box in the bank. Get yourself a P.O. box and send it to the P.O. box. And you can tell the women, usually it's mostly women who work in the offices in the up front in a post office, tell them this has to stay in this P.O. box. Please do not remove it. And if you write on there, that you're keeping it there for safety, and you tell them it's a domestic violence situation, they will help you. Okay.
On top of that, some places, depending on your jurisdiction, have a Baker Act clause where if somebody that you know is being actively abused, you can have that abuser, even though you're not the complainant, Baker acted, which is somebody who is an imminent danger to somebody else, be it their mental health, etc., which can buy you 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours to be able to get them away from your loved one, etc.,
Right.
so that you can intervene safely, get them out, get them help.
It depends on your jurisdiction. That
Yeah,
can be
it depends on your jurisdiction.
like if you're in Alabama or something like that, good luck with that. I mean,
Probably not. No.
But if you can at least get all of the documentation and at least get that first initial stay away order, you usually have to come back to court and, get the stay away order, what we would call solidified, or, they're going to use different terminology in different jurisdictions. Like you get the temporary stay away order, and then you can get, there's usually one that's a year long, or it depends on the judge and the jurisdiction, right? It all depends. But you want to try to get as long of a stay away order as possible. And after you get that stay away order, any time the abuser contacts the victim, and I'm using the legal term here, I'm not saying survivor for a reason, because on the stay away order, it'll say victim and abuser, right? Typically. Anytime the abuser contacts the victim, document it. Do not respond to the abuser. Don't say hi, bye, or F you. Don't say anything. Unless it can be documented through like if there are children involved, there's an app you can use. I forget the name of it, where no messages can be deleted or altered or anything. And there's timestamps on there. I'll look up the app. I don't remember the name of it. And I'm saying this for a reason, because every time that an abuser contacts a victim after the point of that stay away order being enacted, it should be a criminal charge. So then if you go to the court and say, hey, look, he keeps contacting me, and if you can get witnesses to that and all of that, then that it stacks up. And it stacks up, and that can be a larger possible prison sentence. Your loved one can get out of an abusive relationship, but they may need help to get all their ducks in a row, because you got to think they're going through some huge trauma. It is very psychologically damaging, and they may feel like they're alone. What they need to know, though, is that they are not alone. And I highly, highly recommend calling the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And they can put you in touch with your local resources. So victims advocacy groups, legal aid, except like everything that you're going to need. All right. Once you get all those ducks in a row, it's like you're going to battle. I keep saying this. It's like you're going to war, right? And you need to get all your troops together and get them rallied, right? Rally the troops. Yes, it's hard for the victim, but it's also hard for the victim's family and friends and coworkers and etc. Everyone who cares about that person. But life can get better. Okay, my life is tremendously better. I mean, night and day, compared to how it was with my ex. So if my life can get better, then yes, your loved one can get out and thrive and have a beautiful life. All right, just document everything. And if there are text messages and all that, screenshot all of that from her phone and then send it to yours immediately, because if he blocks or deletes or whatever, then all that material is gone.
Yeah.
So do that now. I did email all of that, but I just want to put that out there in the stream so that victims and their family and friends and whatnot will see this. And like, I don't want to just say this to one person in need of help. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I'd like to say something to the friends and family of people who are actively being abused, if that's okay.
sure.
There's a stigma or underlined feeling in this country and probably other countries as well that that's not my business. It is absolutely your business. These are people that you care about. They are your friends, they are your lovers, they are your loved ones, they are your family. And no matter what pissed offness you get from the person that you care about, I assure you, as someone who's experienced this, it would be worth you losing that person because they're pissed off at you, because you cost them what they think is their relationship, than to lose them forever.
I mean, you
I
can go
recently
about it.
lost someone forever and I didn't speak up. I honestly, at the time, I was like, you know what? This is a controlling asshole. She'll figure it out. It's not my business. And I was wrong. It is absolutely your 100% business. It is part of your social contract with the person you care about to do everything you can within your comfort zone to try to help. Don't think it's not your business and just bury your head in the sand. You will regret it. I assure you, you will regret it.
True. I mean, you can talk with the victim and whatnot, and try to keep the lines of communication open and tell them to send you anything that might be evidence, right? Just in case, right? Just
Yeah.
You're just there as backup.
Best you can. Best you can.
Yeah.
Best effort.
And the whole point is, stay there for them, stay strong, and it is your business. It is, because it does affect everyone, not just the victim. And that whole "it's not our business" thing is just bullshit.
No, that's leftover shit from the 50s, is what that is. We've gotten away from the tribe looking out for each other mentality that we really need to get back to.
right.
That's what stuff like this is about. Looking out for the tribe.
True. Leanne says there's an article you posted on Twitter where it allowed you to not be traced in your search history. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, that's really important for victims who are trying to get out.
If anybody needs technology advice on how they can keep themselves safe from somebody looking into their social media, spying, if they have a partner that's abusive and are spying on their Facebook and things like that on their phone, if they want to know if their communications are safe, I can help. If anybody wants anything like that, give them my contact information on Facebook. I can absolutely help them. I've helped many women at the women's shelters have private communications over the internet, various chat programs, various apps, hide their emails in encrypted format. There's a lot of things that are optional. This is kind of what I do. I can absolutely help with that. If somebody needs that, by all means, give them my information.
Maybe we can just do a live stream about it sometime. Hold on one second.
I mean, it's easier than doing. I mean, there's like tutorials involved in that kind of thing, but I'll do my best.
Right. Leanne says, "What happened to Marcus? Did he ditch us? I think he's hanging with baby girl."
He's a daddy. He's busy.
Leanne says that she thinks that would be a good stream. I think it might be useful for people to just get an idea of.
I can prepare a lesson plan if somebody, and some list of apps that they can get that are absolutely secure and things of that nature. I can do that. If they want something more in depth, like, hey, this is the situation I'm in and I want to communicate with this person. How can I do that without this person intercepting it? I can show them how to do that. I mean, it is incredibly easy, with the exception of the iPhones, to install spyware on your phone that your ex, or not your ex, but your current person you're with, is watching every communication where you are and things like that, listening to your phone calls. There are literally YouTube videos of how to do this. The guy doesn't need to be a technology expert. So don't think that, oh, well, my guy's an idiot, so he doesn't know. Believe me, it's easy to find out. I mean, you can YouTube, how do I spy on a phone? And you can find all of that. I can show you how to stop being spied on by somebody. And how to know if you are being spied on. How to detect that.
Yeah. That might be a stream that we have to do sometime.
I'd be happy to. Because I've seen that. A friend of mine was worried that that their ex was looking at their phone. They'd broken up with their ex, they got away and stuff like that. Turns out he had spyware on her phone. Was listening to her phone calls. He could just listen in.
That should be a criminal charge.
It is illegal. It's under wiretapping laws, but it's hard to prove. But he was watching her texts, he was stuff like that, and he confronted. She ended up eventually with a new boyfriend, and he confronted the boyfriend. Unfortunately for him, bit off a little more than he chewed because her new boyfriend's an MMA guy, and that sorted itself out. But but it was a scary thing. Like he was watching her stuff for months, like 6-8 months. Frightening.
That is messed up, but not surprising. I mean, they don't understand boundaries. They don't care about boundaries or limitations.
No, they don't. They're literally insane. They're in an insane place.
With
some people are just evil, but some people are also insane. Either way, it's not in your best interest to have them near you.
With the National Domestic Violence Hotline, they have an escape button that you can push, and it shows up as something completely different. Like a clothing shop or something.
Like a dry cleaner or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, technology is wonderful and great and all, but it's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes, like.
With every advancement comes weaponizing. That's the nature of technology. And technology, by definition, is subversive, which is good for society. But the weaponizing of anything against another person is morally wrong. And, in my business, it's just about being vigilant. Yeah. And most people don't know. They're like, oh, I got my new Android Samsung. It's safe. It's the least safe device you could have. Things like that. So if anybody wants to know something, I would be happy to do a live stream about that. Like give the examples and things you can do to protect yourself.
Right on. We'll have to schedule that. I have 2, possibly 3 interviews coming up. So I need to clean off the whiteboard and write. There's a lot going on. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, if it becomes a paramount concern, bump me up. But otherwise, whenever you get around to it, I'll just let me know. Like, hey, I want to do this thing next week, and I'll prepare some important stuff to know.
Right on. Leanne says, I've seen some people carry a crayon and a piece of paper, so when they're in the restroom and they see a person who they suspect is being trafficked, they can use that to slip to them. Right on.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's something like that,
something in your shoe, super small.
Right. If it's something like that, you can. There's the database for missing and endangered people, and I think there's also one for children, like separately. And if you can snap a picture real quick, you might be able to check out there and see, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's the thing that we were trained in is how to, because we're a port city, we're high tourist zone, like how to spot people who might be trafficked. And it's,
I have a friend who goes to other countries and buys people that are being, like in like sex trafficking, transports them as if they're theirs back to the States and gives them new lives. Like basically buys their freedom. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's an amazing thing that they are part of.
See, if I did that, I would be very highly tempted to make sure that never happens again with that person.
It's one of those like small victory situations.
Yeah.
Like inching along because it's private. It's a private organization that does, like, there's a number of organizations that do this. They go to other countries and like, you know, and stuff like that, and they'll do that. And these people will have like whole new lives years later, college, whole lives ahead of them, and stuff they would never have.
Right. But then you got to think that, well, there's another group that where they go in and they help like local law enforcement, whatever, bust the whole organization. That is what
Yeah.
they do.
In most of the countries that this is involved in, the police are so on the take, it's impossible. I mean, like every one of them. Some of them are actually doing security for the places. It's ridiculous. Like we're talking like Thailand and shit. It's nuts. But I mean, one of the things I would say to anybody who's in a relationship that they don't think, like they live together, they don't think they can get out. A safety deposit box costs $30, about this big, at your local bank. Put cash in it. That way the guy can't find your cash in a boot or anything like that in the closet.
Well,
And
I
when
mean,
you're ready, get out, you know?
right. You got to think about the
Or
possibility.
cash.
Daddy's phone.
Right, but you got to think about the fact that there might be economic abuse. There might be,
You absolutely can.
you
Yeah.
know, an inability to leave the property. Some abusers will lock their victim into a house and they can't leave.
Yeah. That's
you know,
absolutely possible. I was just thinking like for somebody who they think they're in a safe situation, but they want to get out because the guy's a dork and controlling, that can escalate really quickly, as I've told you in the last interview.
I would say look at the Dirty John story. There's a podcast, and then there's a documentary, and then there's also a TV show. It's really good. And if you see what the mom, I forget her name, what she did to evade him. Now, she had the resources, she had the money that she could dip out, rent a hotel room, cash only. You know, she could do certain things that some victims can't, right?
Yeah, I don't want to go. I'm not going to go too much into something, but I know somebody, and I have no contact with this person anymore for obvious reasons. But I know somebody who had to go so far as faking their death to get away from somebody. Sometimes, I mean, it's a horrible thing that they had to go that far.
I mean, but you know,
went to another country, started a whole new life. It's entirely, anything's possible. You have options.
It's sad that some people have to do that, but I mean, we don't take domestic violence seriously enough.
Yeah, no, we don't. It's like you were talking about in the last interview. You were talking about like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, if the cops, you know, like, well, why didn't he call the cops? I'm like, if the cops showed up, they're just gonna be like, you know, get your girl under control. Like that would be their attitude, you know.
And that's how toxic masculinity affects men in a negative way, and we should stop that.
Absolutely. It's like, you know, that every sword has two edges. Mm-hmm. You know, it cuts both ways. Which you know, I always like some philosopher wrote a quote like, "Fair is the ultimate cruelty." You know, because it doesn't care. You know. And somebody, regardless, sometimes people think that while they may have a dick boyfriend or girlfriend, that they're safe. And that it could suddenly escalate. Perfect example, my friend Jesse, that suddenly escalated. Another example, Phil Hartman. Remember that comedian?
Oh, yeah.
Saturday Night Live?
Yep.
He was in the middle of a divorce. His wife killed him in his sleep. He never thought in a million years that would happen, you know? And so the bottom line is, if you don't want to be there, start planning your out immediately. Don't wait. Start planning your out. You know, people will help you.
Right. Don't tell your abuser. Don't tell your abuser anything.
And be careful who you tell.
Yeah. Make sure it's someone you can trust, for sure.
Yeah. Family would be the best solution. Most cases.
No, yeah. Leanne says the thing that always surprises people is they say, where's the actual trafficking happening? And they don't see it in front of them because it's so covert. Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
Right. It can happen right in front of you.
You want to see some trafficking? Is there a massage parlor in your area, Leanne?
Probably trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. There's a really good, and also it isn't just sex trafficking, it's also labor trafficking. A lot of these, nail and manicure and pedicure salons can be labor trafficking. You don't know?
Yeah. I mean, don't even get me started on where our shirts come from. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's part of the reason if I go to get a pedicure, I go to a local place, and I make sure that the people who are working there are from here. Because if they're from here, there's a reason for it. If they're from here, like there's a place not far from where I live. It's the woman who owns it works there, and it's her like cousins or something. It's a family business, and it can be hard to tell even here because we have a strong Vietnamese population, and a lot of the time they speak Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, and from what I've researched, it seems to be a lot of women being brought in from China, Korea, other places who don't speak
China
English.
is the biggest trafficked nation because people are trying to get out.
Yeah.
Vietnam, anybody can kind of come here. It's not actually very hard. The economy there, believe it or not, is deceptively good. I always know, like, if everyone, I bite my nails to shit. Once in a while I go to like get, before the pandemic, I would get acrylic done on my nails so I wouldn't bite them. And I always know if I'm in a cool place because when everybody's talking Vietnamese to each other and you could tell they're just all talking shit to each other, it's a camaraderie. Like but if you see people are just like quiet.
Yep. I was gonna say,
they don't make eye contact, they don't talk. There's something there,
If they're not having banter back and forth with people, and if they're eyeballing the manager and keeping track of where they are,
you see the manager walk through and they suddenly shut up and put their head down.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a sign.
Yeah. What?
Daddy.
Okay, hold on. Go in your room. I'll be in there just a sec.
Okay.
What's the saying? Like over 80% of our communication as human beings is body language.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Body language can tell you a lot.
Yeah, the internet is making us lose a lot of our intuition. Watch out for shit like that. Watch out for people with body language where they feel like this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just that. If you're in a hotel, I mean, if wherever you are, and Leanne said that she's near a major trafficking area because you said something about that before. That is just scary. If I were in a restaurant, anywhere I go, in a grocery store, I would be watching the people around me. And if you see, not always, but a lot of the time, a young person who is just kind of, it could be somebody who's autistic, or it could be someone who is terrified to say anything because they're being trafficked. Just
San Francisco has a huge problem with that. Particularly, it's one of the biggest. Like the city itself is one of the California a little bit as well with Mexico, but San Francisco has a big issue, particularly with Asians who are being trafficked for all sorts of labor, sex trafficking, labor trafficking. Labor trafficking is becoming even bigger in the United States than sex trafficking because organized crime is starting to get wise that they can stay out of the heat by just doing it with honest, businesses rather than illegal businesses.
right.
They're like, because they're thinking long term. So don't think that somebody taking your order in a Chinese restaurant is necessarily working for their dad.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. All right, so we should probably get off here. It is, what time is
It's been a while. We've been at this a bit.
Oh Lord, okay, it's way past baby girl's bedtime. We have to change the time on my computer because it's messing with my head.
Oh, baby girl recognizes no such time zones.
Yeah, right. No.
Oh, there it is. All right, go do your thing. I'll sign off.
Remember, you have the right to say no, and you have the right to have your boundaries respected. If they're not respected, cut that person out of your life. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Okay. That is some messed up stuff right there, Leanne.
You want to read off one last one before we sign off?
I don't know if I should read that off because I'll probably get into trouble with YouTube. That's bad. Wow.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna be live streaming it again tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about KJ tomorrow. So she's not gonna like what I got to say, but I don't care. Zero fucks to give.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll happily come in for Sci-Fi Sunday if you want, but that one I'll just tune in and watch because I don't have enough information to chime in. You know,
It's a lot. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you for being here. Bye. And
Au revoir.
if you haven't liked the, I'm trying to. Marcus isn't here.
Like the stream.
Subscribe. Check and make sure you're still subscribed. All the stuff. Just do all the stuff.
Share the links. Share the links also so people can watch.
Right on. And
Get the
love
voice
you.
out there. Je lève de toi, ma truc darlings. Bye.
Bye.